here, and you're listening to FlashCast by PDB. Today I want to tackle something a little bit different. Often we mix up wealth with success, and it's something that I like to talk about, because creating something that's successful doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become wealthy. And if you look at some of the great examples of the world, people that have created amazing game changer events, whether they're education programs, whether they're game changer products, whatever they are, often wealth follows success, but not always does it so. So this Flashcast is all about my personal views on the difference between wealth and success, and that there is a very, very clear difference between wealth and success. Wealth can come about in many ways, and success comes about in many ways, and not everybody that is successful will necessarily be very wealthy. And when I'm talking about wealth, I'm talking about money, because of course, as we know, there's plenty different ways of wealth, and the number one wealth thing to me is obviously health. But this Flashcast is all about wealth in terms of dollars versus success, which to me is all about achievement. So let's talk about success first. I always say to people that in order to be successful, you need to set out goals that you want, purpose, mission statements, whatever you want to call it. It all means the same. Your why, your purpose, your vision, your goal, and it should be around personal, professional, and family. So the three areas that you keep hearing me talk about: personal, professional, and family. To me, success is when we set out a vision or a purpose that we want to achieve over a set of time. I do my goals normally over 12 months, and if I achieve them, I then normally add some over personal, professional, and family. So clearly lay out what my vision and my purpose is to achieve over a 12-month period in each area. Now, to me, success looks like completion of those goals. So once I've ticked them off, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. That is what success means to me. Now, for many, many years, I was very successful in business. However, I wasn't always successful personally, especially around my weight area, where I put on a lot of weight. I didn't have the time to focus on myself. I didn't have the discipline to focus on myself without making any excuses. I knew that I was putting overweight. I knew I was putting on weight. I knew I was overweight, and I never made excuses for it. I just realized that in order for my life to work in harmony, I needed to put my focus on the business side of things. So for many years, whilst I was successful in business, to me, I wasn't completely successful because I wasn't able to achieve the goals that I would set year on year for my weight. Now, whether that was because I wasn't being reasonable or whether I wasn't trying hard or disciplined enough, it's probably a combination of all of those things. However, I was never completely successful because I wasn't able to achieve all the goals, all the purpose, all the whys in each of those three areas: personal, professional, and family. So I want to use myself as that example of success. So whilst other people would look at me and say, oh, but financially you've got it all. You've got enough money to do what you want. You can go anywhere you want. You can buy anything you want. And therefore they deem you to be successful. To me, again, this is a classic example of the difference between wealth and success. Whilst you can be wealthy, it doesn't mean that you necessarily are successful. The next point is obviously where we look at things and say, well, wealth normally does follow success. And one of the things I've talked about is that if you get things right in all areas of your life, personal, professional, and family, that is when wealth then follows success. Let's break it down into monetary forms. You look at items such as the iPhone. Steve Jobs didn't go about creating Apple to be financially wealthy. He went about it to be a game changer. His vision back in the 80s was to have one product. Now I'm talking about the iPhone specifically. His mission, his vision, his problem he wanted to solve, his why, all came down to one thing: one product that would get rid of everything else. And by get rid of everything else, that meant a computer, it meant a dictaphone, it meant a camera. All of the items that the iPhone can do is exactly what he wanted to solve. Now, he did not even think about wealth. He didn't think about money. It wasn't his driving force. But of course, we all know, as Apple being the number one company in the world right now, I believe in stocks, turned out to be extremely wealthy. And we take other examples like Bill Gates and Microsoft. Microsoft, his vision, his purpose, success to him looked like putting a computer on every desk in a home. Because until he developed the Microsoft software, running a computer was difficult. We all had to use a DOS system, and some people wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. But it was operating a computer through a set of commands, which even myself, I couldn't do. I wasn't an IT person. Along comes Bill Gates and says, the problem I'm going to solve, my vision, my purpose, my why, success to me looks like creating a product that everybody can have access to because it's easy enough to use. And of course, Apple, Microsoft, two of the biggest companies in the world, are very, very wealthy. So another classic example of wealth following success. Now, if we flip the spectrum and look at other things, and we look at people that have created cures, we look at people that have done amazing work, achieved great success in cures in the area of, cervical cancer, in skin cancer, in AIDS, where many years ago you would die if you contracted HIV. Now, the virus never leaves you, but you've got a great chance of living. If you look at the people that have done amazing work and cures in this space, a lot of us wouldn't even know their names. Nonetheless, most of them would not have achieved the level of wealth that some other people would have. So, in using those practical examples, I always come back to the point that wealth doesn't always mean success. And in often cases, by being successful, by achieving what it is that you lay out to achieve, you will generate a certain amount of wealth. Now, one thing that I always like to talk about is the concept of wealth and money and what people see versus what the reality is. And my reality when it comes to money has always been to have enough money to do what I want when I want. And I've said that from the age of 11, 12, 13, when I used to see my father working on Sundays because it paid double time, and he'd have Friday and Saturdays off. I always said that I wanted to have enough money to do what I want when I wanted. And that was to me what wealth looked like. And it wasn't about a number. It wasn't about how many, millions and all the rest of it that you were worth and your financial value and all of that. To me, it was all about being able to have the freedom. I've always seen wealth as a resource. I've always seen it as a resource to be able to do things that you want to do, to help. And that includes helping other people, helping community, helping other people achieve what they want to achieve, whether it's, helping them open businesses, whether it's running, pajama foundation camp, which my wife and I do, whether it's obviously buying a nice car because I love my cars, or buying a holiday property, etc., etc. It is a resource. So wealth to me has always been about resource. It's not about status. It's not about, it doesn't make you, it doesn't define you. It really is one of those concepts that people need to get their head around, that wealth is not something that marks a person or defines a person. It's a resource that enables them to do things. And again, that there are so many successful people out there that might not have that wealth status, but are incredibly successful. They are doing amazing things in amazing spaces. And I want to finish on the point that success comes at all levels of our life. Success is at all levels throughout the whole journey of our life. Success is not a destination. And if there's one thing to really take away from this flashcast, is that success is a journey. Success is not a destination. It is not itemized to me. Success is an ongoing thing that we achieve in all areas of our lives at all years of our lives. So whilst we might have some bad years, those bad years will often set us up for great success in years to come. So anytime you're following those obstacles or you hit an obstacle, remember that you either go around it, smash through it, but always never shy away from it, because those points in your life will be your turning points. They will be the moments that define you, and we all have them. And if we haven't experienced them, then we're not pushing hard enough. One of the greatest things I heard the other day on one of the YouTube videos on mindset was that it's often those A students that work for the B students who often rent the buildings from the C students. So something to have a think about. It's the A students that often work for the B grade students who are often renting the buildings off the C grade students. And I just thought it's probably a really clever way to put things in perspective, that life is a lot more about than classifying people, whether it's their wealth or their grades. Remember, success means different things to different people. Set out amazing goals to be successful in your life across family, professional, family. Remember that it is a journey and that wealth doesn't define a person. Wealth is a tool, it's a resource to do the things you want to do when you want to do. As always, be the best you can be. Get your friends to subscribe to FlashCast by PDB if you're enjoying the sessions, and get onto our Facebook page, FlashCast by PDB. Leave us your feedback, give us some topics to talk about, and thank you for listening.